Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture is titled M27, the Dumbbell Nebula. So what do we see here? Well, here we see an example of a planetary nebula, known by its catalog designation of M27, the 27th object in Charles Messier's 18th century list of objects that were not comets. So he was cataloging objects that were diffuse, a little bit more spread out, and they could be things like nebulae. We now know there are things like galaxies and star clusters that are all parts of this. But nebulae can be various different types. Some of the nebulae in the catalog are planetary nebulae, such as the one we see today. Some are supernova remnants. Others are general emission nebulae, like the Orion Nebula. So they're all slightly different. This one is a planetary nebula, which is what happens at the end of the life of most stars. So except for the very most massive stars, which can undergo a supernova explosion, giving us a different type of remnant, these are planetary nebula, again, the outer layers of a star being expelled out into space. And what happens at the end of the life of a star, the core runs out of fuel and starts to collapse. It crunches down to something about the size of Earth, essentially pushing the atoms in it as close as they can possibly be. To be any closer, you would have to put the electrons of the atoms in the same quantum states, and that is impossible. So the electron pressure then holds up this star, which can have the mass of our sun, but is about the size of Earth. And that would be the white dwarf star at the center of this nebula. The outer layers, while the core collapses, those outer layers expand, eventually becoming big enough to fill a large portion of our inner solar system. They will not be very tightly held by the gravity of this core at the center that has collapsed down, and eventually are expelled out into space. And that's what we're seeing in our image. We're seeing essentially the star split into two parts: the core, which will remain, and the outer layers, which continue to expand out into space and will eventually dissipate into the general interstellar medium, becoming material for future generations of stars. Now, in this image, the colors have been enhanced to emphasize the hydrogen in red and the oxygen in blue that we see here. Now, as we look at planetary nebulae, we find that they have all sorts of different shapes. And that's one of the things we don't completely understand. Some of them are very nice and symmetrical. Some of them are a little different. And we think it might have something to do depending on the motion of the star at the center. So if the star is in a multiple star system, that could affect the way the outer layers are expelled when that occurs. But there's still a lot going on with these nebulae that we don't know about. And this is, again, the ultimate fate of a star like our sun, and where our sun will be in about 6 billion years. So that was our picture of the day, titled M27, the Dumbbell Nebula. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be Passing Triton. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.